ANC Secretary-General Ace Magashule will remain suspended. The High Court in Johannesburg delivered its judgment this morning. The court also rejected that Magashule had any legal basis to suspend ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa. Magashule was suspended in May after he failed to adhere to the party's step-aside resolution for those facing criminal charges. Let's bring in the ANC national spokesperson, Pule Mabe now. Mr. Mabe, thank you so much for making time. As the ANC, how are you responding to this judgment?
Well, afternoon, Clement, and afternoon to your viewers. Sorry that we couldn't connect earlier on Zoom, because the ANC note and welcomes the decision of the High Court to dismiss with costs the challenge by suspended Secretary-General Comrade Ace Magashule to his suspension and the constitutionality of the provisions of the ANC Constitution and resolutions of the National Conference aimed at advancing the unity and renewal by combating corruption and protecting the integrity of the organization. You would recall, Clement, that the court found that the recognition by the ANC of the nature and the extent of corruption and its impact on society and on the ANC triggered the need for decisive action by the party, and that the call for decisive action resonates with the objectives of the ANC as set out in its constitution, in particular the commitment to social justice and the elimination of inequality. The court also found that the ANC, through its constitution, created the model and mechanisms best suited to its structure and needs. The court found that provided that such a model, evidenced by the ANC's constitution, is consistent with the Constitution of South Africa, and further provided that the ANC is loyal to its own constitution, it is largely left to the ANC to best regulate its internal functioning. It is underscored the fact that all members of the ANC sign on these provisions when they elect to be part of the ANC, and that this is the glue that binds them together. The court was also satisfied that the ANC constitution is consistent with that of the country, and that the decision to suspend Comrade Magashule was effected in terms of the ANC constitution, was precautionary in nature, and complied with the law relevant to precautionary suspension. It was also satisfied that this suspension accorded with the principles of natural justice. Furthermore, the court found that, Clement, as you would have heard, that there was no basis to confirm the purported suspension of President Cyril Ramaphosa. The mandatory requirements to effect such a suspension in terms of Rule 25.70 were absent. Therefore, there was no basis to activate Rule 25.70 as Comrade Magashule purported to do in support of his decision to suspend the president. The court found that Comrade Magashule had not made out a case for the relief he seeks, and accordingly dismissed his application. We have welcomed the judgment in the context of the process of unity and renewal of the ANC, as evidenced by the ongoing and consistent implementation of the resolutions of the 54th National Conference, such as our new membership system, the establishment of our electoral committee to oversee the selection of candidates, which is led by Comrade Khalima, the former deputy president of the ANC, and internal ANC leadership elections, its internal dispute resolution machinery, as well as the work of the ANC Integrity Commission. Cumulatively, these interventions are consolidating the renewal of the ANC and making it a more effective instrument of liberation in the hands of the people. Yeah.
So what's going to happen next then? What does this mean for the Secretary-General? Do you guys expect him to apologize to the president? Must he go through the DC? Will he go through this internal dispute machinery that you mentioned?
Well, Clement, he can elect to appeal. It is well within his own rights. I would have seen an interview he gave earlier to one of the broadcasters where he had indicated his intent to appeal. Of course, the decision of the ANC to summarily suspend him in terms of Rule 25.70 continues to obtain and enforce. The ANC is convinced and maintains that it acted well within its own rule book, something that was affirmed by the court, and we also believe even another court will still arrive at the very same determination.
Yeah. What does this mean for the other people who were suspended but seem to be challenging the suspension? And they argued, well, let's wait and hear how the court is going to rule on this matter surrounding the Secretary-General. People like Bongani Bongo.
Well, we are satisfied that in effecting decisions of the African National Congress will have effectively went into the rule book of the ANC and ensured that our decisions are in accordance with what is prescribed, something that the court once more affirmed that the African National Congress is a voluntary enterprise. Those that join the ANC submit themselves to the Code of Conduct of the African National Congress and also submit themselves that they will commit to upholding the Constitution of the African National Congress. There will never be a decision that the ANC takes or makes which is outside the overall framework of the African National Congress, especially its own constitution.
All right. Pule Mabe, thank you so much for making time. And that is the spokesperson of the ANC, Pule Mabe, reacting to that court ruling by the High Court in Johannesburg. Now,